I can tell you, as far as we're concerned, we are more than ready to go in, to operate, and to get things done. My name is Doron Keidar. I serve in a Special Forces outfit that is detached to the paratroopers. That's about all I can divulge. What we do is we get things done. We get things done when the worst thing happens. And right now, like you're seeing with the horrible, merciless, animalistic, no words to describe attack on our civilians. And I was in an interview yesterday, actually, because I just got home for a few hours to be with my family for the first time since day one. We got called up in the morning. And so we've been on base ever since and operating and doing a bunch of different missions I can't, again, divulge, but we've been very active. And so we got to see our families. And while at home, someone wanted to interview me, and that will be released whenever. And one of the things that the gentleman that interviewed me said, he said, this is probably the worst attack on Jews than the Holocaust, like next equal to the Holocaust. I've been comparing it to worse than the Yom Kippur War. And honestly, the way he labeled it, I agree with him 100%. There's nothing like this. None of the pogroms in Europe, none of the inquisitions, nothing comes to comparison to the evil that was unleashed on that October morning, on the 7th, on one of the most holy days in Judaism, okay? It was Shmini Atzeret. We were supposed to get to the climax of joy and celebration from the Feast of Tabernacles and kind of come to that ending, closing ceremony, reading the Torah, being in prayer. And these merciless animals came and did unspeakable things to my people.
Give me a sense for your preparations before and after the attack of October 7th.
Okay. I would say as far as before the attack, units like ours have a lot of good intel, and therefore we have been preparing. We have been preparing for this exact scenario, in fact. Not exactly the way it played out, yeah, but we have been preparing for multi-front war. So we're seeing this play out right now. Again, I don't watch any news, so I don't know. I just know what the military is doing. So we have units down here along the southern border, and we have units up in the Lebanese area in the north. And apparently there seems to be a multi-front here, which is exactly what we prepared for in our training. So that's what I can talk about, that I know, because I did see somewhere along the lines that someone had leaked that into the news reporting, that we've been doing that, some of our generals as well, so I'm allowed to say that.
Okay. What are your preparations now as you get ready for this ground offensive? What are you doing to prepare? What are your expectations of what you'll have to face?
So the first thing we've done is we've secured the communities that got infiltrated. We went house to house clearing houses from potential terrorists that might be hiding out. And once we got done with basically securing these communities that have been impacted the most along the Gaza border, we have been on training mode, because the military has been waiting for the green light to operate. So the detachment that I'm part of, we have our marching order, so to speak, and we're ready to go. As far as why we're not operating, I don't know why exactly. There's rumors because of the cabinet, the prime minister, whoever. I don't care. As far as the military is concerned, we are ready, we are prepped. We have been training, and we've been overtraining, and we have been honing in our tactics, in my unit at least. And I can tell you, as far as we're concerned, we are more than ready to go in, to operate, and to get things done. So that's where we're at.
Whenever the call comes,
we're ready to spin up. Yes, sir. We are ready to spin up.
Is it tedious? I mean, of course it's tedious. That's a Captain Obvious question. But is it to the point where it might start to compromise readiness if they don't do something, because you can't be on that front foot, all the time, right?
You're right. So that's a very good question. Does that affect us emotionally, mentally? Absolutely. There's nothing more frustrating than having lions just stand by, okay? When a lion is watching his pack get slaughtered and you tell the lion, stand down, that's how we feel. Because the unit that I'm in and my detachment, we have decades of experience, and every one of them is a lion. And let me tell you, they are ready to just get unleashed and to let us do our job.
When you are unleashed and allowed to do your job, what are you expecting to encounter when you get in there?
We're expecting to encounter the worst case scenario. So anybody who knows the Gaza Strip and or the northern border, because my detachment is ready for either front. So you have booby traps of every kind. You have dirty tricks of the terrorists of every kind. I'll give you an example of something that's not classified. Something like, for example, a teddy bear, okay? But something that's from here, right? That they took and they booby trapped it. We're more than aware that as a father who sees a backpack of a little girl or what have you, you're not gonna touch it. You're not gonna mess with it. And we have special units that deal with all of that. We're prepared for, again, like I said, any dirty trick that the Hamas/ISIS, because both are taking part in this war. I don't know what you guys are saying, but it is Hamas and it is ISIS. Both of these terrorist entities, of course, Islamic Jihad and all the other scumbags, but the bottom line is these entities, they're waiting for us, and we're preparing to take them out and annihilate them like we should. And we're prepared for the worst. And let's just say we have some dirty tricks up our sleeve as well.
Yeah, it's kind of the United Nations of Islamic Jihad, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's kind of everybody.
Yes. Unfortunately.
So, yeah, it really is.
Unfortunately for them.
Israel can't lose this.
No.
They were surprised.
That's right.
But they cannot lose.
Yes.
How far is Israel willing to go to make sure that this never happens again?
Militarily speaking, our generals, our warfighters, we are willing to go all in. We are all in, and we are here. And if you've noticed the numbers, it's over 100% recruitment rate. I think it's around 180% if I heard last correctly, but it's north of 150% at least per every reserve unit that has called up soldiers, over 150%, and I believe it's up to 180% in most units. My unit, for example, we all showed up. We're all 100% here, but we also have a bunch of people that want to join us. If we had the capabilities and the abilities to take in more warfighters, and again, the people that come to us, they're not your normal reservists. They're from some very, very well-capable units and have years of experience, because that's the only people that come into my unit. And if we had those capabilities, then yeah, we would bring in more people. And the same with every outfit. But again, the military can only take in what they can take in. Yeah. And as you can obviously tell, we are more than ready and above and beyond to come and do our part to restore peace into this area once and for all.
We've seen around the world there have been all these pro-Hamas, pro-Palestinian protests. Only days, even sometimes before Israel even started to respond in any military way. What's your response to that? Is it like, for example, Antonio Guterres, the UN Secretary General, yesterday was talking about proportionality. What's your response to the proportionality argument?
Real simple. Proportionally, I'm going to go rape, murder, slaughter, burn, torture 2,000 of their people, and then I'm going to take over 200 hostage. That's proportionate. But that's not what we're going to do. What we're going to do is we're going to execute vengeance, justice on the bad guys, on Hamas/ISIS and any other Islamic jihadist entity that is a threat to our country, with the absolute highest moral ability to avoid any casualties from the Palestinian side. For those who want to say, liberate Palestine, we were with Palestine, I understand them. They're ignorant. They don't know what they don't know what they're standing for, and if you do know, you're sick and you're demented. Because it's basically saying we're pro-Nazi. if you're pro the Hamas. If you're pro-Palestine and you make a separation, which I've been debating a lot of these people on social media, there's a difference, especially if you come from an Arab background or a Muslim background, so you're supporting your brotherhood. I get it. I respect that. I would do the exact same thing. But if you support Hamas, in my book, you're just as good as a Nazi. And so, like I said, we're going to execute vengeance, if you will, to the bad guys.
Well, the bad guys are obviously weaponizing your own morality against you.
Sure.
Right?
Yes.
They're weaponizing
Yes.
the
Yes.
civilians
They play
against
dirty.
you. Yes. Is there? I guess what I'm getting at is, it seems to me like what you're about to do is actually the most loving thing you could possibly do for Palestinian civilians.
It is.
By liberating them from
It is. The most moral thing that we can do right now, and proportionality. First of all, we're not going to execute proportionality because that would be, like I explained already, that would be sick, it would be demented, and it would be below us, and it would be animalistic, and that's not what we are. We are men and women, families, fathers, daughters, you name it. We are a national military of people who are civilians on their day-to-day life, and we have a moral compass that is way higher than any other military that I know. How do I know this, Doron? Well, how do you think you know this stuff? Because I know people who serve in special forces in the northern countries. When I talk about northern countries, Sweden, Norway, Finland, and I've spoken to them in person, officers of the highest level of operating in Afghanistan and Iraq and you name it, and they all will tell you, what you guys do is a risk to your men, and we would never do that. And I tell them, good. You need to tell that to the world, because I know that we have the most moral conduct in war. The rest of the world does not.
So would you say that what you're doing for the Palestinians is the most loving thing you could do for them?
It's to eradicate Hamas that is making hell for the Palestinians. Absolutely. The Palestinians are being fed a daily dosage of hatred, of brainwashing, and that's why you end up with little children who grew up into little teenagers who grew up into adults with a twisted mind, and that's the only way you would end up with the result of what happened here on the 7th of October, the Black Sabbath. That's the only way you get that, is by the evil that's being spewed through Hamas, ISIS, Islamic Jihad, and again, I don't want to name all these scumbags because that's what they are, and unless we eradicate them, and unless we can help the Palestinians get real, true education, like world history, your own history, language, culture, all that, instead of hate, then this evil cycle is going to continue. So the best thing we can do is exactly that, eradicate the bad guys.
Perfect.